Hello, everyone. I am Fyruz Khan, and today I'm back with a brand new class. Um, let's wait for some students to join. And in the meanwhile, if you haven't liked our page, you can simply go to Facebook, type in Fyruz Education Services, and like our page for new videos. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And again, just type in Fyruz Education Services. And we have uploaded new videos recently. If I'm not mistaken, right now we have around 60 videos. They're all synchronized and arranged on playlists. So it's quite easier to find compared to Facebook. So I would highly suggest you to subscribe to our channel, and you will have access to plenty of videos. So yeah, let's wait for some students, and then we shall start as soon as possible. Okay, so look at this picture. So this is a picture of a coffee shop, and you will find this kind of small coffee shops in London. I know it because I used to live there and study. So this is a let's say a coffee shop in London, a small coffee shop, family owned, family styled coffee shop. Okay, and in the past, let's say 4 or 5 years, they have made a lot of profits, ample amount of profit. Now, with that profit, the owners have decided um, to grow. Okay, the owners have decided to grow and open up branches all over the city. Open up branches in Oxford Street, in Leicester Square, in Hyde Park Corner, and Stratford. These are different places in London. Okay, so they have decided to open up branches. So they're growing, right, by opening up branches. And when you open up branches, when you grow in this way, this growth is called internal growth. Okay. So a company grows like this by opening up branches, by using up their internal profit, and you're growing internally, not externally. You're opening up more branches of the same business. You can open it up in different cities. You can open up multiple branches within the city. So this is internal growth. Okay. So the next one, let's talk about this again. Internal growth is easy to do because you are growing from existing business. It's easier to manage. A restaurant owner may open up several branches. That's internal growth. Okay. If let's say Takeout or Mad Chef open up different branches, that's internal growth. And these are quite easy. Opening up more shops in towns, cities is internal growth. Now think about this. So Airtel is an Indian company, Indian telecom company. They came to Bangladesh a few years back. Airtel, merged with Robi in 2016 because I think they were having financial difficulties. So that's why they thought of merging, because when you merge, you become more powerful. They merged in 2016, and this process of one company merging together, forming a new company which is now called Robi Airtel. So Airtel and Robi, they merged together to form Robi Airtel, and this is external growth. External growth because these two were different companies. Robi was a different company, Airtel was a different company, and they merged together. There were no problems, there were no hassle. They cooperated together, and they formed a new business, which is Robi Airtel. Okay. And this kind of growth is usually called external growth, right? Um, so there you go. Um, so yeah, but then let me also give you one more scenario. So Facebook is a very, very famous uh, social media website and application. So Facebook, a couple of years back, they took over, or they acquired Instagram for $1 billion. Okay, they took over Instagram for $1 billion, and that process is known as taking over. Taking over means you buy more than 50% of the shares and you literally acquire the company. And now Facebook has control over Instagram. Of course, there's a bit of difference between takeover and acquire. I don't want to go to that because that's not mentioned in your syllabus. Um, I don't want to confuse you, but then Facebook bought more than 50% of the shares. They bought the entire company and took control, and that is a takeover. Uh, in the previous example, this was a merger when Robi and Airtel they cooperated together and they merged together to work together, and they formed a new business which is Robi Airtel. But this one is different. Facebook has control. They bought Instagram for $1 billion. So in this case, this is a takeover and not a merger. Okay. Now, if you think about again WhatsApp, Facebook, again, a couple of years back, around the same time when they took over Instagram, they bought WhatsApp. I didn't know this, but today when I was researching for this lesson, they bought WhatsApp for $19 billion. People thought Facebook were crazy because WhatsApp during that time was not so popular in the US. Yes, it was popular with the international clients, with international customer, but US really did not know how to use this app. But definitely, Facebook knew from a very early on that WhatsApp was going to be very big in the United States, and this is why they took over WhatsApp for $19 billion. So that's a lot of money. Again, here, Facebook, what they did was they bought more than 50% of the shares and then and they took control. Okay. So they took over or acquired the company. Now, it's not there in the syllabus, but I just wanted to show you. Now, Facebook has their own app, but that we all know. They also have Messenger. They have WhatsApp. They have Instagram. Now, if you look at most downloaded apps in Google Play and iOS, Facebook owns the four companies. Okay, it is a bit scary situation when one company owns the highest, the largest four brands of application. That can be a bit scary situation because then you can create monopoly. you can you can control the market. You can do malpractices. So the intention of Facebook to acquire Instagram and WhatsApp was to take over the market and increase their market share, increase their power, increase their capability, right? So now Facebook owns, they have their own app, Facebook app, they have Messenger, they have WhatsApp and Instagram, and these are all the highest downloaded apps in iOS and of course Google Play. This is taken from BBC, so it's an authentic website, right? So this is why you do take over, because you want to take over a company because you want to eradicate your competitors. You want to, diminish your competitors. You want to create a bigger market share. You want to create a bigger company. Okay. So so external growth is when two or more firms when they come together. That is external growth, and we know the two kinds of external growth, right? You can merge and you can take over. Merging, I've given you an example of Robi and Airtel coming together. There are other thousands of examples where two firms have merged together. Here they're working together, they're not separate businesses. They have merged together to form a new business, which is Robi Airtel. But here, Facebook has bought Instagram or WhatsApp. These are all separate businesses, and Facebook has control over them. Okay? And that is a takeover. So external growth is a very good way to to grow and expand, taking over different companies. However, it has problems. And we will talk about those problems later. I don't want to give it out right now. So we've talked about merger, Airtel, Robi coming together. That is a merger, okay, to form a newly formed business, Robi, Airtel. Takeover when Facebook has taken over or bought WhatsApp or Instagram. That is an example of a takeover. They've bought more than 50% of the shares, okay, and they have acquired the company. It may also be known as acquisition, okay. So that's that. So taking over this process is known as synergy and integration. Integration means integrate when one or two firms, when they come together, they're integrating, they're combining together. And synergy means the whole is greater than some of the parts. Okay. So when Robi and Airtel, when they come together, they form a bigger picture, they form a bigger business. And that bigger business is greater when they're separate. So this is why the idea is to come together and become more powerful, become a better company, become a bigger company. Okay, so that's that. If you have any question, you can put down the question right in the comment section and we will take it. So that is synergy and that is integration, and this is why companies, they come together, okay, and they think that when you come together you will become more successful. Okay, when two firms come together, they come with advantages, they come with a lot of money, they come with a lot of power, they come with a lot of contacts, and they become more successful. Okay, so that's synergy and integration. um so the advantages of two firms coming together, like Robi and Airtel, or like WhatsApp and Facebook, that is not a merger, but that's a takeover. That is a form of integration. Now, the advantages is that they can exchange ideas. So why do you want to come together? The first reason is you can exchange ideas, you can exchange technologies, you can share different facilities together. Okay, so that's number one advantage. Number two advantage is that you can enjoy economies of scale, right? You can produce more, and we know that when you produce more, you enjoy lower cost. Yes, so you will enjoy economies of scale, and therefore you can also save on marketing cost. You can use the same outlet, you can use the same lawyers. You don't need to have two different marketing teams, you don't need to have two different legal teams, you don't need to have two HR teams. Now you can combine them and make them ones, and therefore you will save a lot of money, you will save a lot of cost. Okay, so that is synergy, the advantages of synergy and integration. The three advantages, okay, now you can exchange ideas, exchange facilities, right? And then you can enjoy economies of scale because you're producing more. And we know when you produce more, the price per unit will fall. And of course, instead of having two different departments, you can just have one department and you will save cost. But however, it comes with a lot of challenges. It comes with a lot of problems. The challenges are sometimes when two companies, because Robi, think about Robi and think about Airtel, both were very big companies. When they came together, they actually became very big to manage, right? Also, sometimes the companies may be different in their approach. We know that both of them are telecom companies, but then they may be different in structure. Then what do you do? So you will not have a lot of benefit. They may do entirely different things, they may do it differently. And third, the culture, the way you do things may be different. The culture is different. The way you behave, the way you do things in a company, the mindset, the managers, everything may be different. So the disadvantages of synergy and integration is sometimes the firm, when you merge, when you take over, after that, the firm may be very too big to manage. Sometimes the companies are different, are so different that then you don't get any benefit from it. Number three, the business, the culture, the management, the culture, the way you do things, the mentality, the mindset may be very different. And that can create a conflict, that can create a clash. Okay, so think about that. Um, so far we've talked about you know we've talked about this horizontal growth. This is known as horizontal growth. Internal growth, actually, when you open up branches, you are actually expanding within the business, right? And then I have given you an example of merger, how Robi and Airtel merged together to form a bigger business. I've given you an example of a takeover or an acquisition. Okay, how Facebook took over Instagram and took over WhatsApp by buying more than 50% of the share. Because when you buy more than 50% of the share, you will have control. Okay. Um, and I have shown you why did they buy Instagram and WhatsApp, because they wanted to have a bigger market share. They wanted to have a control over the market. They wanted to have more power, and they became that, right? All the first four companies are owned by Facebook, and then comes Snapchat, Skype, TikTok, and so on. But in this way, this is not good, because in some ways it can be an anti-competitive policy. One company owning four different applications, that may be a bit controversial sometimes, right? Um, and of course, we've talked about merger and takeover. We've talked about what is synergy. Synergy and integration means the whole is greater than some of the parts, right? The whole is greater than some of the parts. So there we go. So when you come together, when two businesses come together, that is bigger than being separate. Okay. So yeah, there you go. And we've also talked about the advantages of synergy and integration, right? You can enjoy and share different facilities, different technologies. You will enjoy economies of scale. You will save on marketing costs, because you can use the same store, you can use the same HR team, you can use the same legal team, because now it's the same business. You don't need to have two of those things. But however, the disadvantage is that sometimes it may be too big to manage, because Robi and Airtel, they're both big companies. Okay. And sometimes the companies may be different, and so that there may be very little benefit. And the third drawback is that the culture, the management style, the mindset may be entirely different, and that can create conflict or clash. Now, how can a business grow? Horizontal merger. Okay, now we've already talked about a little bit about horizontal merger. For example, think about a garment company, a garment factory A takes over another garment factory B. Now the question is, what does a garment factory do? A garment factory makes t-shirts, make clothes, they stitch it, right? They don't manufacture the raw material. They don't do that. They're not selling clothes, but then they have the raw material already. They stitch it, and then they send it to the outlet. Okay, that's how it happens. So when garment factory A takes over garment factory B, it's the same industry, right? It's the same stage of production. Garment factory A taking over garment factory B, it's the same industry, same stage of production. They're not selling clothes, they're not making the raw material, but they are making the ready-made good. They're stitching it, right? So it's the same industry, same stage of production, and that is known as horizontal merger. Okay, that is known as horizontal merger, when you merge with another company that's in the same industry, same production. The example is garment factory A taking over garment factory B. In this case, the advantage is that, why do you want to take garment factory B? Because you want to reduce the number of competitors. Okay, now you will have less competition because you've taken over that, right? And then you will enjoy economies of scale, because together you will produce more. When you produce more, the cost per unit will fall. Okay. And you can exchange ideas, exchange facilities. So that's there. So when this garment factory takes over another factory, the same kind of factory in the same industry, same stage of production. Okay, so that is a horizontal growth. You're growing in the same way, in the same direction, not in different direction. You're not selling clothes or you're not manufacturing the raw material, but you're making the product, making the ready-made product. Okay, and the benefits we've already talked about it. It reduces the number of competitors. Now you will have one less competitor because you've taken over garment factory B. You will enjoy economies of scale, and now you have a bigger share of the market, right? Facebook taking over Instagram, Facebook taking over WhatsApp means they have a bigger share of the market in the social media market, right? They have more power. So that is a horizontal integration. Now think about vertical integration. Vertical integration means when one firm takes over another firm in the same industry, but at different stage of production. Now let me explain that to you. For example, think about again garment factory A, okay, takes over a clothing store. Okay, so it's the same industry, clothes, okay, clothes. You're in the fashion industry, you're in the clothes industry, clothing industry, right? But you're going one step forward, right? You will make the clothes and then you will sell the clothes in the outlet that you own, that you have. So that is known as forward vertical integration. You're moving one step forward. You make this clothes, you stitch it, and then you have a place to sell the product. So you're going forward. Okay, so you're selling you have a fixed place, you have a store, you have an outlet to sell your product. Now why do you want to do forward integration? You want to do forward integration because you have a fixed outlet of your own. You don't need to sell through a third party. Now, let's say you didn't have this outlet. You had to make the clothes and then find a suitable store, a suitable retailer, a third party retailer to sell your clothes. You had to negotiate with them because that store is owned by someone else. There will be no power. There will be nothing. Okay, but in this case, this clothing store is now owned by you. You can set the prices, you can control them, you can fix the place to sell, you can decide how to show off your product, how to showcase your product. You have all the independence. And this is known as forward vertical integration. Okay, you are going one step forward. You're making the clothes, stitching the clothes, and now you have a fixed outlet to sell. Okay, a retail store. Not all factories have their own store. They will find a third party store and sell it. But then if you have your own store, these are the advantages that you will have. Okay, there we go. And then think about this. Let's say garment factory A takes over a textile factory, right? Now, a textile factory, of course, means they make the raw materials. They will, make the raw materials using thread and yarn. Okay, so garment factory A taking over textile factory is backward vertical integration. You're moving backwards. Now they are making the raw materials, and they will then send it to garment factory, and then the garment factory will sell it to a retail store, right? So you're moving back. So when you take over a textile factory, okay, who makes the raw materials, the clothes using yarn and thread, that is a backward vertical integration. Okay, now why do you want to do backward vertical integration? Because you can ensure quality, what kind of clothes to make, what quality. You can think about the reliability. You can think about, you will get the supplies on time. You will get the design on time, or you can comment on the designs, right? So that is a backward integration. You're a garment industry, you're going back. Now, back means you're making the raw material right from the scratch, shuta. Okay, and then it goes to a garment factory, and from the garment factory you send it to a retail store. Here you send it to a retail store to sell. uh, from the garment factory, if you buy a retail store, if you take over a retail store, that is forward, vertical integration. You're moving forward. Same industry, but you're moving forward. Now, if you're taking over a textile industry, same industry, fashion industry, clothing industry, but you're moving backward, right? Now, if you go back to the definition of vertical merger says when one firm merges with another firm in the same industry but at a different stage of production, right? So different stage, clothing industry, a retail store, that is a different stage. Okay, it's not at the same stage. They're not stitching the clothes. It's an outlet which sells clothes. Textile factory, it's a different stage. They make the raw materials, right? So that is a vertical integration, and vertical integration can be forward and it can also be backward. Okay, I hope it's not too confusing. I tried to make it easy. Okay, I really tried hard. Um, let's go ahead and see what we have. Now think about this screenshot has been taken from Tata's website. Now if you think about a business like Tata have their own consultancy service. Tata owns Tata Tea, Tata has chemicals, Tata has power, Tata has cars, motors, Tata has hotels. They are in different industries that does not relate with each other. And this kind of businesses are known as conglomerate. Okay, I have the definition here. I can show you. Conglomerate means when one firm merges with or takes over a firm in a completely different industry. So Tata has different kinds of industries. Okay, and that is conglomerate diversification. They're in the chemicals industry, power industry, hotels, steel, motors. Okay, that is conglomerate. Now the question is, why do you want to be a conglomerate? Why do you want to have different kinds of industry? Tata has tea, motors, power, chemicals, hotels, consultancy, all different businesses, different kinds of businesses. But the question is, why do you want to have businesses uh, that are so different to each other? The reason is you are spreading the risk. Spreading the risk means if your consultancy business is not doing well, no problem. You have steel industry, which is a completely different industry, and that may do well. If your steel industry is not doing well because of some reason, you have hotels, which is a completely different industry, and they may not impact each other. If a hotel is not doing well, you have chemicals. Chemical is again an entirely different industry. They're not interdependent on each other, right? So, in this way, you're spreading the risk, you're diversifying the activities. Okay, so that is a conglomerate. And the second is you want to have different businesses because you want to transfer different ideas. Okay, different ideas, different technology, exchange of different pool of ideas, and that is the benefits of conglomerate integration. Okay, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to comment down on the comment section. And then you can also integrate with university and suppliers without integration. Sometimes you have strategic alliances, like let's say FES works with a university for new, that university will provide a new training course. Like, a year back, we joined hands with Square. Why? Because we provided English and IELTS training with them. Okay, it was not, they did not take over us or we did not take over them, but it's a strategic partnership, strategic alliance, only for that, only for a particular period, only for a particular job. Okay, so there we go. You can also have a strategic alliance with a supplier. Like Apple had a strategic partnership with Intel. Intel makes chips for them, computer chips, mobile chips. Okay, so it is possible to form partnership even without merging and taking over. You can form an alliance, a joint venture, only working for a specific period of time, only for a particular task. Let's say uh, uh, you know, I will work with Square only for 1 year, or only for 2 years, or for 5 years to provide IELTS training. So we are not merging or we're not taking over. We have a specific purpose, and that is a strategic alliance, a joint venture. Right? Sometimes, if you watch films, Bollywood and Hollywood films, you will see two or more companies come together to produce one movie, right? Let's say, Dharma Productions and Yash Raj Productions comes together to make this film. It's not that these two companies are now one company, they're merging together, or they're taking over, one taking over the other. No, they're just working together only for that film and for a particular period of time. And that is a joint venture, a strategic alliance. You can also have these kind of alliances and ventures with different companies. Okay, right? Like we have strategic alliances with IDP, we have strategic alliances with Assumption University. We have not taken over them, or they have not taken over us. We just work for a certain purpose. Okay, so that's that. So we finished a chapter, which is great. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to comment down on the comment section. I thoroughly enjoyed explaining you the chapter. In the book, there's a summary of integration. Please go and have a look. It's all there, right? So thank you very much. I will see you in the next class. Do not hesitate to like our page, to like our Facebook page. Yes, just press the like button. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just type in Fyruz Education Services and subscribe to our channel. We have now over 60 videos, so we are uploading videos every week. So that's that. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed my session. I will be back again tomorrow. Thank you.